When making the Candy Hearts pouch, you'll want to print out page 4 of the pattern, which is the pattern pieces only. Use a ruler to measure the 1-inch square to make sure that it measures exactly 1 inch. That will ensure that you've printed everything correctly. You will cut out the pattern pieces along the solid black lines. Once you have cut out the pattern pieces, choose your materials, and you will want either vinyl, leather, cork. So I have this vinyl. These both are from So Hungry Hippie. This is, I think, called Mearshine vinyl, and this is, I can't remember, but I will link her shop in the comments. So when you choose your fabric or your materials, the back color is the same color as the flap, and this is an unlined super quick project. So you'll want to choose the color that you want the main heart will be the front panel, and then the color that you want to be the back and the flap will be your back panel. So I'm going to use this purple for my main, and you want to trace both of these pattern pieces on the wrong side of the fabric. I'm using my metallic silver pen from moremeknow.com, and this works well for tracing on vinyls, waterproof canvas, things like that. Roughly cut that out to get this out of my way. Alright, and then we'll trace the back panel on the back of the pink fabric, pink vinyl. And then you want to take your time to cut these out as nicely as possible so that they fit together nicely when you're done, and that the edges all line up evenly. These would also be super cute with some of the colored clear vinyl that is in the So Hungry Hippie shop. I'd definitely check out all of her different vinyls. Okay. Alright, so then I'm just going to cut this out along the marked line, and I cut just inside of the line, so that way I don't have any of the marked lines on my finished product. one. All right, so we have our purple and our pink. And then also there is a snap placement mark. So I'm just going to punch out the snap placement mark on the paper pattern piece for the back panel. And these are just my leather hole punches. If you have just an auger, is that what it's called? That you poke through, then that works. That usually those come with cam snap kits. And that's what I'm going to use on this one, as a plastic cam snap. Alright, so line up my pattern piece. I'm going to mark the snap placement. And I'm going to punch a hole. Alright, now before we sew this together, we want to mark our snap placement on the front pattern piece. So line up the top sides, the top and side, I guess, of the two pieces. And I'm just going to place a few clips on here to hold that together. Alright, now I'm going to fold the flap over in place so I can see exactly where it will be. And the reason why I'm not putting this on the pattern piece is because different thicknesses, so if you're using leather or something, the placement will be a little bit different than if you're using a thinner vinyl. So I'm just going to go right through the hole that's in the flap and mark the other side of the snap placement. Alright, I'm going to unclip these. And I'm going to punch a hole where that snap placement is, and we're going to insert that side of the snap. So there's what they commonly refer to as the male side, has the prong that sticks out, and the other one has the hole in it that receives. So I want the male side to be on this part. So you put the cap side of the snap on the wrong side, and then the male side of the snap goes on the right side of the front panel part. And you can also use metal snaps if you have those. That's what I used on my cork version. Alright, so now we're going to place these back wrong sides together and place a couple clips on there. And the clips kind of leave little indents in the vinyl because it's soft. So when you're finished, you can just kind of hit it with a hot blow dryer, would help get those out. They will eventually go away on their own. Or I like to run my hot iron over the ironing board and then lay the vinyl on the warm ironing board. You don't actually want to iron vinyl from the right side of the fabric. We're going to install the other side of the snap after we sew these pieces together. And this is just meant to be a real super quick, simple project. it perfectly holds a gift card. Alright, so once everything is clipped together, and we're going to sew around the flap for this also, even though it's not sewing two pieces together, it's just for the look, so that the stitching is consistent and goes across the flap as well. So I'm going to start right here, and we're only using a 1/8 inch seam allowance. So that's why it's important to make sure that you cut it out nicely. But you can trim a little bit if you need to make the edges even. So I just like to start right at the beginning of the flap, and I'm going to sew just like 1 or 2 stitches, and then back stitch 1 or 2 stitches. And you know, I actually probably should have put my Teflon foot on. And you want to take it nice and slow around the curves to make sure that everything is lined up, and to make sure that your stitches stay even and a consistent 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. If your vinyl is sticky and sticks to your presser foot, you may want to use a Teflon foot, which is made to glide across vinyl. Which I think I should have done, but I'm just going to and you can stop to readjust as needed. And I do lift up the presser foot when I do that. Sometimes I'll stop as often as every stitch and kind of just turn it a little bit, which just makes it easier to go around those tighter curves like that. A walking foot can also be helpful with vinyl, if it's sticky. Alright, and then I'm just going to stitch right back to where I started. When I get to that point, I'm just going to back stitch another couple stitches to secure that. Alright, cut my threads. Super simple project. And then if you have any edges that don't line up exactly, just go ahead and trim. So I'm just kind of trimming my bottom piece to be even with my top piece. Alright, and then we just need to go ahead and install the other half of the snap. So this time we'll put the cap on the right side and put the female side on the wrong side. I don't want that. Use our snap pliers and go ahead and set that snap. And just like that, it's done. And you can slide a gift card inside or a couple little pieces of candy for kids. And it's just a real fun, quick little project.